helps them all. It's a general stretch. But if you're really going after something and that's the answer, you'd want to go after that. So that's one of those where there's two answers there possibly, but one's better than the other. Distraction is a general stretch where a posterior Mobz would specifically help flexion. Got that? All right. So the other concept here is long axis traction. That's what you see some people do. Like I will commonly do this. Again, I'm still in that same resting position. But if I'm doing this, I'm basically trying to pull her arm out of joint. That's long axis traction. Now, where should I probably be? I should probably be here if I haven't taken out her elbow from being an issue. So a lot of times I'll be here. That'll be my long axis traction. So long axis traction and distraction are kind of general stretching techniques, right? So if we're going to do a caudal or inferior glide, those are the same concepts. We're doing, that's going to help abduction, right? So again, I'm in the same exact position. I can, if I'm feeling good about myself, give this distraction here, and then all I got to do is find my acromion, because I do not want to be on my acromion, right? I want to be off of that, come off of that, and with that distraction, then I'm just going to inferiorly glide or caudally glide. So I'm pushing down that direction. So I'm here and I'm pushing down. We talked about if we want to get out of this position, and the book shows some of these examples, it's okay to say, okay, I'm going to stretch you, and if she said, oh, that's kind of where it stops, so I got abduction of 90, I could then do an inferior glide right there if I wanted to, right? But I'm always going to start at this 55-30 position. We good with those? So we got distraction, long axis traction, and caudal / inferior glide. Again, you're going to hear it referred to as inferior glide probably most of the time. I think your book might have said caudal glide, so that's why I put it in there. Perfect. So we got posterior glide now. Posterior glide is going to help with flexion and internal rotation. So again, if I look on the script or look in the evaluation and I see that there's a lack of flexion or internal rotation, so same concept, I'm here, I need to make sure she's at least off of the table. If I have her all the way on the table and I push down, I'm basically just pushing her into the table. So maybe just scoot an inch, there you go, perfect. So I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna attempt to do that lateral glide again, and then I'm going to then just push back. Again, make sure I'm not on the acromion. I need to be off of the joint line, distal to it, and then again, I also need to make sure I'm putting my hand or my palm, not necessarily a point, and I distract, laterally distract, and push back, all right? No, that's posterior. That's going to help flexion or internal rotation. Yes, ma'am? Okay. So that would be, so she gave feedback, hurt, so did I push, right on the bony prominence? Did I just push too hard? Whatever the case might be. All right, so we got anterior, that's prone, so lay over to your stomach if you will. Stay on this side so you're hanging off this side. Anterior is going to help extension and external rotation. So again, this one's a little bit different, but I still want to try to keep her in that open pack position. So the good news is I kind of grab her arm, kind of let her hang down. This would be awesome if I had a table that kind of came up and down, because really I need her kind of about in this position, which puts me a little bit of a problem. But same thing, I'm grabbing. In this case, I usually take her elbow and put it on right in between my leg there. So when I do distraction, it kind of counter forces it out, and then I'm just going to push forward. So I got to get her relaxed. So I got her there. My bottom arm is doing the lateral distraction, and then my top arm is just saying anterior glide. Right? It's important that I get myself in position where I'm using my body as opposed to kind of using my wrist, right? So I need to be here doing this, right, as opposed to kind of back off of it, all right? So body position over the top of it is important. That's anterior, right? So let's kind of work on those a bit. We'll probably